bit with him through the middle, Gary.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's better at receiving the ball in tight areas maybe than Richarlison, so maybe the reason that Ange flipped them and he's moved Richarlison maybe to the side. I think they tried to progress a lot through the middle, Spurs. And maybe Son just gives them that little bit more quality in those sort of tight areas where they look to progress.
Can Spurs reclaim top spot? We're about to find out in the hands of Alan Smith and Seb Hutchinson.
Which includes the goalkeeper with the best save ratio in the Premier League this campaign. Mickey van der Ven scored his first Spurs goal last time out, but also an own goal in the cup meeting with Fulham. Yves Bissouma suspended. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg starts for the first time this season. Richarlison, twice signed by Marco Silva for Watford and Everton, is alongside Premier League Player of the Month Son Heung-min. Brennan Johnson available again for the first time. Well, Marco Silva has never beaten Tottenham in the Premier League. He does have a former Arsenal keeper in Bernd Leno. Issa Diop out with a knock, so Calvin Bassey makes just his second start for the club. Sasha Lukic preferred in midfield instead of Alex Iwobi after returning from a knee injury. A former Tottenham loanee and Carlos Vinicius is preferred to lead the line again, with Raul Jimenez remaining a sub again. Well, what a start it's been for Spurs. In fact, there hasn't been a better one for the club in the Premier League. And Ange Postecoglou has proved as popular as many had predicted he would be. A chance to return to the top, but they must beat the only side to have bettered them so far this season. A look at the team picked by the Premier League Manager of the Month for August and September, starting the first 7 league games of the season. Well, lots of talk about Son and Maddison, but what about the big signing at centre?
Yeah, Mickey van der Ven, he's settled into this league and this team incredibly quickly. Looks like he's got most of what it takes to be a top centre-half. Reads the game well, he's really quick, and he's also a progressive passer with the ball. Also seems to be forming a useful partnership with Romero. A great start for the Dutchman here. By this stage, Alexander Mitrovic had scored 6 goals. Now he's gone. Who's going to step up to provide that cutting edge through the middle? Well, Jimenez, he's had a go without much success, and now it's the turn of Carlos Vinicius. Maybe, you never know, he'll have a point to prove tonight against his old team.
Well, this stadium, of course, always touted as one of the best in world football, but the atmosphere tonight expected to be quite something. Only the 4th home game for Tottenham this season, and quite a reception expected for the club tonight after quite the start to this campaign. Well, the world is shocked and saddened by the war in the Middle East, and just like all the Premier League games this weekend, there will be a period of silence as a mark of respect to those affected by the crisis in Israel and Gaza.
Who have suffered the loss of loved ones and the communities impacted. We hope and stand for peace. As a mark of respect, we shall now observe a period of silence as we remember the innocent victims of the ongoing crisis in Israel and Gaza. This will start and end on the referee's whistle. Please remain silent until you've heard the 2nd whistle.
With those innocent people who have lost their lives and those being impacted by the ongoing conflict. Well, Fulham have had some tough away games already this season. A draw at Arsenal. Will face Manchester City as well, but this might be one of the toughest places to come this campaign. No room for racism campaign continuing this Premier League weekend as the players take the knee. Well, away we go. The only points dropped for Postecoglou this season were in the 2 League London derbies Tottenham have played so far this season. And their only other capital clash this campaign was that spot kick loss to today's opponents, Alan.
Yeah, that came as a big disappointment, didn't it, to a lot of Spurs fans who thought that...
I expect them to be overly aggressive at Tottenham. I think they'd want to keep the pitch as small as they can. I think they'll probably try and be aggressive from a sort of lower position. I don't think they'd want to open up the pitch and give Maddison space in between the lines. So I would expect a lower 4-4-2 and then them to try and be aggressive from there.
Does that mean that James Maddison, who's on his way shortly, I'm sure, is really the key man? How to get in those positions and unlock those big moments for Spurs tonight against the Fulham side who, as Gary says, are likely not to come out too much.
Yeah, I agree with Gary. I'm a big fan of Marco Silva. He's a really good coach. His teams are really organised. At times difficult to play through. I go back to the last time we saw them on Monday Night Football. They were really poor against Chelsea. It wasn't the normal selves, if you like. But I just think that battle between Maddison and Palhinha in that midfield, I think will be fascinating, really, because Palhinha, I think last season was one of the best defensive midfield players in the Premier League, hence why one of the giants of European football tried to take him. So that'd be a great battle. And for me, James Maddison, I think he's probably been the outstanding player in the Premier League this season. I think player of the month in the first month. To come to a club like this, a big step up for him from Leicester, and he's really took hold. And you know he's got that personality and football arrogance, really.
But this is really strange that he hasn't got a goal contribution at home yet. You'd never have guessed that, would you? When he's got.
Well, listen, he'll want to change that tonight, won't he? He will want to change that. But also, when you talk about players like him, you're